Good afternoon, everybody. This is Damon over here with Encompass REI, and excited to connect with you guys today. We'll do a little bit of a Q&A today for sure. Make sure we answer and address any questions you guys have. But of course, we want to get in and show you some really powerful features and benefits of the software platform. So I apologize a little bit in advance. I got a little bit of a head cold, so I may sound a little awkward, but I promise I feel better than I probably sound. So with that said, though, I just want to kind of cover some housekeeping items for the GoToWebinar control panel. So if you take a look, you typically have your GoToWebinar control panel. It normally pops up on the right-hand side of your screen. And that is actually how you're going to control everything on the webinar here, including your audio and things of that nature. But the biggest thing I want to point out is that there is a questions box, okay? So if you see the questions box, that's actually where you can communicate. There is a chat option and things like that, but to be candid, I can't monitor both easily, so I do monitor the questions. So as you have a question, and it could really be just related to just about anything, nothing's off limits, go ahead and post your question, okay? So with that said, let's really kind of jump in. I'll start sharing my screen so that you guys can see what we've got going on today. All right. In the questions box, if you could, just let me know that you can see the screen. It'd be great if you could just throw out a question. Just give me a good yes in the questions box that you can actually see the screen. All right, awesome, good, thank you. Okay, cool. All right, guys, well, hey, let's get rocking on this. Let's see. All right, so again, you should be able to see the home screen here on the Encompass software platform. We actually had a previous webinar where we actually covered building your websites and setting up some of your actual funnels. Okay, so today what I'd like to cover is the property pipeline, and if we've got time, I will also try to hit the property finder tool. Okay, property finder tool is very, very powerful tool for those of you that are looking to build a network of others to bring you deals, right? I mean, that's really what property finders do. They actually go out and find properties and submit them back to you. The awesome part about that is all of those properties are funneled right back into the property pipeline, okay? So the property pipeline is exactly what it sounds like. It is your pipeline to manage your properties, whether they're new properties, they're under evaluation, maybe you've already got them locked up under contract, or you've even closed them. So even closed properties, it's great to keep them in here. I also encourage you to upload the documents, any closing documents you have and everything else. It's a great place to kind of archive and keep records for your properties, okay? So let's jump in and actually take a look at the property pipeline. So when we click on the property pipeline, it actually shows us that we've actually got 5 properties in the pipeline. So we've got a blank one here, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And you also see we've got several of the same properties. To be candid, that's kind of my test property. So it's in here quite often. This is a demo account, and you'll see that 2720 Black Cherry. That's our first rental that we ever did here in O'Fallon, Missouri. And so the point I really kind of want to drive home here is I want to cover the property pipeline and the features that you can see here from this particular screen, okay? The first thing you're going to notice is that you can filter by source. So if you want to see properties that were submitted to you just directly from your property finders, did you manually add a new property? Was it submitted via a web form or your seller website, or another tool that we have called the Equity Analyzer, okay? So you can easily filter. You can also filter by different stage and status of the property, as well as different deal types, right? So if you just want to just look at your wholesale deals or rehabs or whatever, and you want to filter, you can certainly do that. The other thing I want to point out here is that if we don't have a deal, or you don't see a deal type that you're focused on, so maybe you're doing mobile homes and you'd like to have mobile homes in here, hey, no problem. You can actually just come in here, hit the little plus button, and we can add mobile homes. okay? So you can actually add additional deal types, and then actually once we refresh, so let's go in here and refresh, and that deal type will actually now be in there. So there's mobile homes, okay? You can do the same thing for statuses, okay? So you can do the exact same thing for statuses as well. You can add additional statuses. All right. So, and then, you know, of course, we can quickly search, and the search will search through notes and everything else as well. Okay. So you can add new properties pretty easily. We're going to actually do that. You can import properties. So if you've got a list of properties from a CSV file, you can actually import an entire list. You can export the properties, and then you can edit the marketing profiles. Okay. The marketing profiles are universal. So whenever you come up here and go to marketing profiles or edit marketing profiles here, it really is taking you to the same spot. And I'm going to show you why that's important, because you can't have multiple marketing profiles. And so why would you have multiple marketing profiles? And I totally respect some of you on the call may just be solopreneurs and you're operating solo today. But as you grow, maybe you've got a partner and they handle all of the rental properties. So if it's a rental property and you want their phone number and their marketing information on the property, the single property websites and the advertising, then you can actually set up a marketing profile for them, okay? So that's actually why we have multiple marketing profiles. The other thing you're gonna see is that you can toggle the display. So I actually personally do like the list format. It's just a little cleaner, especially once you have lots of properties, but you can do tiles. All the same information is really available. The statuses, changing the statuses very easily and everything else, you can do that from here. But like I said, I personally like the table format, okay? All right, so we're actually I'll show you just a couple other things here. Of course, I can edit the property here. I could delete it, or I could actually archive it. I can sort by date created, by the status. I can easily change the status of the properties here as well. I can publish the property to the community. So all of the Encompass REI subscribers, so literally there are thousands and thousands of users that use this platform. And like, let's say that you're wholesaling the property. If you'd like to publish that property and make it publicly available for all of the other Encompass REI users to see, then you can actually publish that here. Syndication, that is syndicating to third-party sites. So we're going to take the property and we're going to post it to sites like Zillow and OLX and all kinds of property marketing sites. So we're going to actually blast that out for you. So that's called syndication. So you can easily toggle that on or off here. This is the website link. So if you actually want to link to the website for the marketing, this is actually the marketing flyer. You could, of course, copy the property as well if you would so desire. And this is HTML links for the ads and things of that nature as well, okay? All right, so let's actually jump into a property. And in fact, let's just add a new property. And I'm gonna add 2720 Black Cherry, but we're gonna go ahead and manually add a new property today. So let's go ahead and add a new property. And we're gonna come up. All right, now I'm actually not going to fill out the beds, baths, or square footage. I'm not going to do any of that. And we're going to go ahead and hit save, and that property is going to be created. All right, but what it does is it instantly takes you to the lead sheet. Now, the lead sheet is exactly what it is what it sounds like. Now, there are other terms. You may hear this called the property information sheet, but basically this is additional information that you would like to collect on the property. Now, this is completely customizable, okay? So there's a couple things that you can do. You can actually press the little pencil button here, or you can actually just hit the start customizing here. And whenever I do that, you're gonna see that we actually pops up and you can actually start adding additional form fields to the lead sheet, right? So if you've got a particular question or anything like that that you would like to add to this, you can come in here and whether it's radio button, a yes or no, a date, anything like that, custom contact, you can add any of that stuff here. So let's just say that we want to actually have a checkbox. and I'm just going to make something up. Let's say your favorite football team. And I'm just totally making this up, right? But let's say it's going to be the Dallas Cowboys or the San Francisco. Okay, and I can keep adding options in this checkbox if I want, just by hitting the little plus sign. Okay, we're going to go ahead and hit Save Field, and there you go. You can see that we've actually added a checkbox. We can come over here, hit Done Customizing, and now that question is added. And I want you to understand that's actually added across the board. So if I go into another property or something like that, then this question it'll be universal on your lead sheet. Okay, so this is basically the additional information that you'd like to collect on the property. All right. Now I want you to pay attention to this as well, because I'm actually going to show you how later on, I'm going to actually, at the end of this call today, or we'll actually build a web form to show you that you can actually collect and add any of these fields to a web form. And that web form could be placed anywhere on your website or a new landing page to collect this information automatically for you, okay? All right, so again, this is the lead sheet. From there, we're just going to come over here and go to contacts. Now, contacts, again, we can add new contact, or you can add an existing contact from the contact database. Okay, so if I come over here, and it's going to actually search, and so you can search by name or email and add any existing contact to this property, right? Because you might have multiple buyers, you might have multiple sellers and things like that you'd like to add to the property. So let's go ahead here. We'll add a new contact. What role are they playing? Let's just say that this is the buyer. Now this is actually, so we can categorize them, of course. So we're going to go ahead and categorize them. What's their email? Phone number, address. We can add all of that additional information to this property. Now, I want to point this out because they're actually linked, okay? So now the contact record was created inside of the Client Genie. So the Client Genie is the CRM or the contact manager. So any contact you create here, so if I add a new contact, it is also creating it in the Client Genie, okay? So it's the same database, right? It's one of the big advantages of having the platform built on the same database and actually integrated, right? So you don't have to worry about copying and importing and exporting contacts to keep them all in sync and everything else. You don't have to do any of that, all right? So that's our contacts, okay? Pretty easy to come in and see all of that information and reach out, and touch the contact, okay? From there, we're gonna pop over to our repair list. Now, the repair list estimator, we've got this broken out into exterior repairs, interior, and utilities and plumbing, okay? So everything that you do here, now you can actually, and this is an accordion style, so you can come in and see the different roof types and things like that. And if we don't have a roof type or a particular item that you would like to add, you can add custom fields. And if you add a custom field here, and if you then save as the default list, then any changes you make here will be, again, universal across all properties and all new properties in the future as well, okay? You can also delete a lot of these things. So if you find that you're not doing, and you just want to kind of make this really clear and clean, then you can actually delete several of these as well. We do give you estimates. So they're estimates. These are just kind of national averages. So realistically, you're going to want to find out what these items are really priced at in your particular market. And again, once you do that, let's just say that we look at clay tile, and in my market I know it's $12.50. Okay, so once I save that and I put $12.50, then I can come in and actually save as the default list. And then moving forward, again, I no longer have to, all I'll ever have to do in the future on even new properties is I just have to come in and put the square footage, right? So, or the quantity, if you will, the square foot. So, how many square feet are we going to do? Okay, that's 1,000 square feet. And that price point will be saved. And so it's going to automatically calculate all of those prices for you, okay? So again, very, very easy to do. Just quickly go through your exterior interior, and utilities and plumbing. Okay, so all of that stuff is going to be important, especially when we get over to the Analyzer tab and we're actually running analysis to understand the numbers. You know, we want to see what does our profitability look like on this particular deal, right? So very easy to do that, and all of these numbers really carry over to the analysis. Okay, now the next tab we have is our comps tab. All right, so what we're going to do, if you remember when we added this property, I didn't key in bedrooms or bathrooms or square foot, but what we do is we actually go pull data from the public records, and so we can see that this property last sold for $191,500, July 5th of 2005. That it was just tax assessed at $163,000, and that was in 2017. Now we also do go get the Zestimate numbers as well as the appraisals, and we kind of average those out. Now we're not sitting here telling you that the Zestimate number is, you know, the actual value of the property. Okay, we all know the pros and cons of the Zestimate number, but we pull this in here so that you have it, because quite frankly, as you're talking to the seller, you ask them what the prices were, or what they think the property's worth, and they tell you $191,810. You're going to know very quickly that they're getting that from Zillow and the Zestimate. Okay, but as we scroll down, you're also going to see the red pin is the subject property. The green pins are sold comparables, and then the blue pins are actually rent comps. Okay, we're going to give you some additional information as far as, you know, the Zestimate numbers. What has that really changed in the last 30 days? What does that actually look like? So all of that is pulled again just directly from the Zillow data. And again, just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on in that marketplace. Now, some other cool things that you can do. You can, of course, you know, change the, you know, we can zoom in if we want. On the property. Okay, we could change this to, you know, satellite view very easily. Okay, very cool. I can drag the little guy out here and get the street view, so I can actually start seeing exactly, you know, what does the property look like. So there it is. There's the red pin. So there's our subject property. So just, you know, again, setting anywhere with a computer, and I can easily do this. Okay. All right. So we can come over here, hit back to map, and then we can kind of reset that. All right. As we scroll down, you're going to see the actual data. So these are all the sold comps. You can sort them by proximity, by the sale date, you know, bedroom, bathroom count, to make sure that you're really comparing apples to apples, as well as we're going to give you some rental comps as well. What's going on in that particular market? What does actually rent look like? Okay, so let's take a look at this for back onto sold comps. So the other thing too is you're going to notice that these are hyperlinked, and you can actually view. So if I actually hit the view button, so if I actually want to go and let's take a look at this property that sold for $278. If I click on the view option, that's actually going to open up a new window, and it's going to take me directly to that property. Now, why do we do that? Because you can see when it sold. So it did sell for $278 on, looks like September of 2017. So it sold a while ago. But really, the awesome part is typically you're going to have interior photos, so you can start understanding, you know, what type of rehab do you necessarily need to be able to compete with, things like that, whenever you're doing that. So again, just going to link that stuff out directly so it's easy to do. But then you're also going to notice a couple things here as well. Okay, I can refresh the comps. I can also add manual comps. So if I know that I've got a comp that hasn't been added to public records, and so it just depends upon where you're at and what market you're in on how fresh the data is. Okay, so sometimes it's way fresher than others, but if you've got a comp that you can actually come in and add the comp that you would like as well. Okay, you can also print the comps, and I don't have any comps selected, so let's go back in and actually do that. All right, so let's come in over here. I'm going to show you how, as you select comps, there's a few things that happen here. Okay, all right, so there's a few things that are happening. First of all, my ARV, so my after repair value, is being calculated, and it's showing $180,000 for this property. Now, that's being calculated based upon the average price per square foot. Okay, so we know that the subject property is 1,312 square feet. Based upon the average price per square foot in that particular neighborhood, at that square footage, this ARV, so long as it was rehabbed, up to the neighborhood standards and it was in good shape, then it should be about 180 based upon that square footage. Now, it also calculates our maximum allowable offer automatically based upon those comps. Now, these are going to change, of course, if I add or change the comps, okay? So as I add some comps, then let's go take a look at this. Yeah, it's at 178 now, and our maximum allowable offer is 130. Now, how does it calculate the maximum allowable offer? Again, you can actually change that. So if I come over here, here's my maximum allowable offer. You notice that my repair estimate, remember that roof that we did for $12,500, that's being deducted. And I'm basing this off of a 20% net investor profit of the repair value, okay? So I want a 20% net investor profit minus repairs, and I could change this if I wanted to say, you know what, I want 25, then I can actually calculate that. Now, you can also add, realtor fees and holding costs and closing costs, and even your assignment fee. If you're just gonna be wholesaling and you want a $10,000 assignment fee and you want to build that in, then no problem. So you can actually change these. And the awesome part about that is in the future, that's those those variables will be used in the calculation of your maximum allowable offer. Okay. Now there's a couple other things as I select these. The awesome thing is if I go back up here to my map and let's zoom back out. Any comps that I selected turn orange, okay? Now, for whatever reason on this particular property, and again, this is actually one of my rental properties. I use this property for demos all the time. So you notice that the comps on this particular property are not necessarily as close as probably what they really need to be. All right, so this is an anomaly with this particular property because I use it all the time. So we've got some sort of glitch where it's not pulling the actual neighborhood. But rest assured that whenever you do this, you'll see your subject property in the comps. But the cool thing is I can also just come up here and I can say, oh, you know what, I actually do want to use that property as well. And so there's multiple ways that we can actually really select properties for our analysis. All right. Now, the other thing too is, again, I do want to point out the rent comps, because if I'm a buy and hold investor, I'd love to be able to know, again, what's really going on in that particular neighborhood. Same thing, I can actually come over here and click on view, and we'll take you directly to that particular listing. All right, so we'll take you to that listing. Now, most folks want to always know here, they're like, hey, where are you getting the rental data? Okay, so what we're doing is we actually go out and scrape multiple rental sites every night, and we bring their data and we dump it back into the database, and so that you guys can actually see, is that really a rental area? Is it a rental neighborhood? Okay, and what do the properties look like? What do the properties look like that you're potentially renting, right? So again, just click on the view, and we're going to take you right to where the site where we actually got that. So you're going to see that this actually is an apartment complex. Okay, so you're going to see the rental data surrounding that particular property. Okay, all right, and sometimes you will notice that, like for instance, on that first one I clicked, you're going to notice that the ad is no longer there. What we do is we go out and scrape that data, and we bring it back and put it in the system, and we hold it for about 90 days. So if they take that ad and they if it's rented out and they remove the ad or whatever, then sometimes you won't see it exactly, but that's why, is because at least within the last 90 days it was an actual rental ad. Okay. All right, so I'm going to check questions really quick, see if we've got any questions at this point. All right, I don't see any questions. So again, guys, if you have questions, please, feel free to ask questions. More than happy to engage and to make sure that you are getting all of the relevant information that you need. Okay. All right, so this is the again, the comps tab. Pretty easy to really kind of understand that. From there, we're going to bounce right over to the analyzer. And so the analyzer is exactly what it is. We're going to actually jump in and start analyzing this property a little bit more detail. So you're going to notice the ARV carries over automatically, and we're going to go ahead and key in our purchase price. So let's say that we can get this thing for 123. That's fine. All right. Now the awesome part about this is that there's so many different variables on a deal. And I know you guys all know this, but the great thing here is we can really start running some what if analysis and quickly see in real time how it impacts our numbers. So there's a few assumptions here, strategies. So you can actually analyze for a fix and flip, analyze it as a lease option, just a straight buy and hold, or even wholesaling options, okay? And all of, so you're gonna notice that if I go to rental, then our variables change, right? So we've got some additional things that we need to actually get, right? So we're gonna go ahead and we'll analyze this today just for a buy and hold, all right? And we're gonna start plugging away. So what's the financing strategy? So how am I gonna acquire this property? Is it gonna be conventional financing? Am I gonna do hard money or private lending, a line of credit, or am I just gonna, pay cash for the thing, right? So, but we're gonna go ahead and let's key in a conventional financing for 30-year financing. We'll pay a couple of points on that, 5% rate, no interest only, and we can do itemized closing costs if you so desire, but we'll go ahead and say $4,000 in closing costs, and there we go. Okay, so anytime I want to see, what, like for instance, my P&I payment, my principal and interest payment is $528 at 5%. What does that look like if I go to 6%, right? Okay, I can actually start seeing what does that do to my cash flow? How much money do I need at closing if I'm going to do an 80% LTV, right? What does this actually look like, right? And we can come in and actually do a little bit more detailed work on expenses. Again, our initial repairs, that carries over from the repair estimator. Am I going to have a management company, right? So are they going to manage this thing for me on a monthly basis? Are any marketing costs? Are taxes? What percentage are there? Do we want to calculate inflation percentages for future analysis, right? What's my tax bracket, right? What's my tax bracket? To know what this looks like and how it actually affects my actual after-tax profits, okay? So all of that is on our expenses. We can come over here and look at the income. Now that particular neighborhood, we were seeing some properties for $1,450. Is there an annual growth percentage? What's your vacancy rates? All of that is actually calculated. We can quickly see if I can rent this out for $1,450 based on the numbers that I have. Then you know what, we're looking pretty good at $396 a month average monthly cash flow, right? Let's keep going. We'll go to the exit assumptions. How long do I want to hold this thing? Let's just say I want to hold it for 30 years. And I'm going to use annual appreciation of 1.75% to calculate my future sales price. And I can see exactly kind of what kind of profit we're looking at over the entire 30-year period, all right, with my cash flow and appreciation. And if I want to get a little bit more detailed, hey, no problem. Come over here to our reports, and we can actually click on our cash flow. And here's our 30-year cash flow report, automatically calculated for us, okay? So based upon, again, all of the numbers that I'm actually plugging in. So we can quickly see our cash on cash returns before taxes, cash on cash return after taxes, all of that with equity build up before taxes, our internal rate of return, all of those numbers are absolutely calculated for you. Now, this report is going to be very helpful in a few different ways. First and foremost, it's going to help you make better buying decisions, better purchasing decisions. Secondly, if you need to use it for financing options, right? So you take this down to your local community bank, print this thing out. I promise you, they're gonna look at you a little bit different when you walk in the door, and you come in really well prepared, okay? Or even private lenders, right? Private lenders are gonna have a lot more confidence in you if you're actually presenting actual financial data in a professional manner. And then the third option, the third way you can actually use this report is, of course, marketing. So let's say that you are just wholesaling it, and you know that the end buyer is a buy and hold investor, okay? Help them see the picture a little bit clearer by running the financial analysis and providing it for them. Now, you can, of course, you can print these out, you can save them. We've got operating expenses detailed. We got a nice little executive summary. This is a great cover sheet, right, to private investors, things of that nature. If you're trying to raise money, great cover sheet here on this, and you can save these, print these out. But I do also want to point out that you can save these and automatically publish them to your website. Okay, so keep that in mind, because we're going to actually show you in our marketing in just a little bit how all of this stuff can carry over. Okay, but the bottom line is, really, you can just come in here and run the numbers and understand, really know the profit before you close, right? What is the profit? What does the exit strategy look like? What's the potential of this property? Now, we do have an offer tab. To be candid, it will work. It certainly does, but you can't at this time. You can't actually edit. You can't edit the actual offer sheet, but it does create an offer for you and helps you track. But frankly, we're actually working on rebuilding this thing for you guys, because I think we can make this easier and even more flexible. But you can come in here. You can actually put additional additional clauses, things like that. All of that definitely right here on your offer and offer tab. All right, the next thing I want to point out is our task tab. So every property, depending upon what type of work you're doing and what type of investor you are, every property really does become a project. And with projects are lots of tasks and lots of to-dos. And so what we've done is we've actually added a task manager for each property. Okay, now I do want to point out that any task you add here will also populate the team task. Okay, so it will populate the team task, so you don't have to go into every property to see your task list. You can actually go in and see all of your tasks centralized right here in the team task module. Okay, but the task tool is pretty handy, because you can come in and, of course, create individual tasks. You can assign them to folks on the team. So if I want to assign this to John and I need him to research comparables and approve offer. Okay, so I can actually do that. I can set a due date. So I want John to do that by tomorrow. This is high priority. I can create all of those tasks here, and there we go. Created the task and tracked it. Okay, and John will get an email notification that he actually needs to come in and research the comparables and approve the offer. Right. All right. Now, the other cool thing that you can do, you notice how we've got task and then sections. Sections are just that. So we've got we can create stage 1 and stage 2 if you want, whatever you want to do, right? So stage 2. So, and then you can just drag and drop these tasks between different sections. All right. The other cool thing that you can do is, if you click this little button here, it says load template, right? So we can actually just go ahead and assign a template, and you can actually create templates. So if you just hit manage templates, you can actually create your own template. So we've got the wholesale quick list, and we'll just add that there, and then bam. So it says, okay, you got to evaluate the deal, acquire. So all of those checklists can actually be easily created for you as well. So if you're doing the rehab, then you got to do these 10 things for demo and before you move to this stage or whatever. Like all of that can be created in a template. All right. And again, I want to point out, if I come back up here, in fact, let's do this. I'm going to go to team task. So if we create team task and I come over here and I'm looking at all of the tasks, I can quickly see all of the tasks, and I can across the board, right? So I can see those across the board, and I can even come in and look at, hey, let's look at all tasks that are assigned to John. Okay, so there's quite a few tasks that are assigned to John, but here's the research comparables and approve offer. So it actually links to the property, so he knows exactly which property we're talking about, so he can just click on the property. But that's exactly how John would manage his task, and that's how I would actually manage anybody on the team as well. So I can come in, and all of those tasks, again, are centrally located here. All right, so let's go back into the property, though. All right, so that's our task management. Again, I'm going to pop over real quick. I just want to see if we've got any questions. All right, looks good. Looks like we're rocking here. All right, so let's keep rolling here. So the next thing I want to point out is the upload section. So as I click on the upload section, this is where you can upload, photos, videos, contracts, any documents, and you can link them to your marketing. Okay, so you can all the files and things like that you upload here, you can link to the marketing. So you know, any pictures or any stuff like that, videos, all that stuff you can do is pretty cool. But also you can upload, again, contracts, or maybe it's the closing statement, and you know, now you've got all of that data. You don't have to have it stuffed in some filing cabinet, don't know where the HUD statement is, come tax time, all that stuff. Everything's just really organized and here for you. But let's go ahead and upload some files here. So I will upload some files. Let's go. So I'm going to upload some pictures as well as a PDF. So that I've got a proposal from a contractor. So I'm going to actually upload that. So I want everybody else on the team to have access to that document, but I'm going to wholesale this property. So let's just say we're going to wholesale it, and I do want to market it. And whenever I market it, I want everybody to, all of potential buyers, I want them to see that I've actually got a contractor's bid already on the work. So I'm actually going to be able to provide this on my website. I'm going to show you that in just a moment. So we're going to go ahead and say we're going to wholesale this thing. So we're going to change the deal type to wholesale, and we're going to go ahead and say that we've got this thing under contract. All right. So the property's under contract, wholesale deal. We've uploaded some files. Of course, I can keep any notes on the property, so I can add any notes or anything like that. Comes in very handy with multiple people interacting with the property, so we can kind of see exactly what the other folks on the team are doing, their thoughts, everything else can be tracked here on the note section. All right, that leads us to the marketing. So we got this property, it's under contract, I'm going to wholesale it. So now it's time for me to market this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the marketing tab, and that opens up, and we basically got a whole nother sub menu here. So basically got a whole nother sub menu here under our marketing tab. So you can see that we've got property details. We're going to talk about that today. Property websites, property flyer, HTML flyer, email. We're going to talk about all of these and exactly what they do, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stay on our property details. Now, this is basically the details to market the property. All right, so here's all the property basics, whether it's, you know, market status, list price. So we're going to go ahead and let's put this thing for, you know, 135. Save that. I can edit any of the other details, marketing details. Here's my catchy title. Here's a short description. We'll save that. We'll edit the, we'll do full property description. Okay. And I'm doing that exactly. So I'm going to show you guys, you'll see in the marketing where all of this stuff carries over, okay? And then down here, we can go more property information, property features, school profile, land, building, pricing details, open house, like video tour. You can upload all of that type of stuff here, but let's just come here to our features. And I'm just making stuff up here. Again, if you see something that we don't have, and you know that you would like to add, you can add that feature. And then as I scroll down, the photos that we uploaded in our upload tab are also creates a little slideshow. So here's the different photos. You know what? This is the front of the house, so I'd really like that to be the primary photo. So I just drag and drop it, and it changes it to the primary image. So I can easily drag and drop. I'm going to go ahead and hit edit. And that's actually going to allow me to add captions to the photos. So we've got an amazing circle drive. Enjoy your new pool. Sleep well. All right, and I see a photo here. This is the arch. You know what? Don't need that one, so let's go ahead and just delete that. Really easy to do. Okay, perfect. So there we go. All right, so that's the basics of the property. However, I want to come back up because I skipped the section because I want to intentionally kind of talk a little bit more in detail on this. It's the published status, okay? So published status, what does that actually mean? All right, So we actually do have multiple different ways that we actually publish this property for you. So first and foremost is the community status, all right? So that you remember, we kind of talked a little bit about that. This is on or off, and by default it's turned off, but this is basically whether or not this listing is published to all of the other Encompass REI subscribers. And if it is, then if you come over here to tools, more tools, you can actually search by properties, okay? So you can actually go search. So if you're a rehabber, you want to go search wholesale deals, you might be able to find a wholesale deal from another Encompass REI subscriber, okay? And if you would like this property to be published to all the other subscribers, then you can actually select just on. Now, the other cool thing that does is when you select that to be on, whenever you actually set up property alerts, and I don't know that we've talked about that even last week, but whenever you set up a property alert, any property that matches your investing criteria, you'll get an email notification. So if this property matches another subscriber's investing criteria and you select on, then they will instantly get an email notification, okay? And then you also get an email notification with their contact info, everything else. It's pretty cool, okay? Now, the next thing we have is website status. So each property, we also create a website for each property. We call them single property websites. And so you can actually create that as well, okay? So we can just select that to on. And then featured website status. So we actually did this last week. We actually built a website. So be sure to go watch that recording. But featured website status, if you'd like this property to be posted on your website, then you simply select on as well. How easy is that? You don't have to know any technical code or anything like that. We just select on and it's automatically published, okay? And then property blaster. This is, are we going to actually send it out to our third-party sites? And you can actually see the property blaster tab here as well, or we can just publish that on. Now, I'm actually not going to publish this because I actually don't want this property posted because it is just a test property, okay? So I'm actually going to turn that off from the community as well. All right, so there we go. That is our property details tab. The next thing we want to do is take a look at our property website. So as I mentioned, each property gets its own website, right? So it gets its own website. Now, the cool thing is we have, if you have domains, if you use our domain manager to purchase domains, and you've got a free domain available that's not being used, you can actually quickly assign the domain. You can quickly assign the domain to that property. Now, if you don't have a domain, you're going to notice that we have several community domains that you can use. So if you want this property, viewthehomeonline.com, perfect. Let's use that. We hit update domain, and then you notice down here, viewthehomeonline.com / and it's got the property address. So it actually copies it and creates a new URL. All right. Now, if I scroll down a little bit more, you're going to notice, in fact, let's go take a look at this website first. Well, you know, hold on. I'm going to talk about the Client Genie options because this, you can actually trigger an action set. An action set is simply the follow-up plan. So what follow-up plan do you want to trigger if somebody inquires on this property? Okay, so if they inquire on the property, then what follow-up plan do you want to trigger? Okay, so we'll come in here and we'll say, you know what, we want somebody that's done a property search inquiry. Okay, it's going to set the category, assign the flag retail buyer, assign a to-do plan, and even assign an autoresponder. Okay, so all of those things are going to automatically happen if somebody fills out the web form on this website. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save the Client Genie options. All right. And then we can come down here, and now we can actually edit this website a little bit more detail. So here's all the images. I can either turn those on or off. I'm going to leave those on. Do I want to do a video tour? Let's go out to YouTube real quick, and let's get a property walkthrough tour. All right, so here we go. Welcome. And I don't know whose videos this is, but we're going to take the embed code. So here's the embed code. We're just going to copy that, and we're going to go right back into Encompass, and we're going to paste that YouTube code because we want the video tour. The documents, remember we had that PDF document? So we're going to go ahead and say, yep, I want that to be published on the front end website because that's the proposal, the contractor's bid. Comps, do I want to show the comps? Do I want to show rent comps? Let's go ahead and select some rental comps as well. I get to hand select the comps that are going to appear on the website. Walk score on or off. The analysis. Let's go ahead and say, yep, I want all 3 analysis reports. And we create QR code. You can actually install tracking pixels, and then you can do a more advanced style description if you so desire. But there we go. Let's go take a look at what we've created. Well, actually, one more thing. If I hit view and customize, you can select from multiple templates. I personally like this modern template, but you know what? This property's not on the beach. You know, it's more mountainous. All right, so we're in Colorado maybe. So let's throw the mountains there. And I don't like that wood background. I really want to, do a blur background maybe. There we go. Okay, so that's the website. Let's go ahead and save and close this thing, and let's actually go take a look at what we created. So there's the catchy title, our phone number, more information. So if they actually request more information on the property, remember the contact's actually saved inside the Client Genie, and that follow-up plan that we said, hey, if somebody inquires on this property, trigger this follow-up plan. That follow-up plan will be automatically triggered. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Let's say Damon Buyer. Let's say buyer at. And they can go ahead and hit send. And we're gonna see how that data is actually captured here in just momentarily. But here's the additional photos. We did the caption on the photo, really cool. Everything's updated here. The descriptions, my information, my address, all the features that we checked. Another way to capture leads, to connect with us they can actually automatically share this property. Really cool. Let's go take a look at all of the photos. So it creates a nice little slideshow tour. Okay, the captions are added to the photos automatically, maps it out, and the map is cool because we also show them the comps. Again, only the comps that we want to show them. What's nearby, kind of gives them the walk score, lets them know a little bit more about the community. Here's the comparables. Again, we hand selected the comparables, the sold comps and the rent comps. We only show them what we want to see. There's the virtual tour. There's the YouTube video that we embedded. Here's the financial analysis. There's that 30-year cash flow report. Okay, really easy for them to share. The documents. So there's the additional documents. There's the contractor's bid that we decided to share. So that's out there as well. Just super, super easy. The one thing I want to add is that this property website is completely mobile friendly. All right, so it's mobile responsive. It's going to look amazingly well on an iPhone or an iPad or any one of those types of devices. And so you can easily copy this and text blast it out, which we do offer inside of Encompass. So you can actually do text blasting, or you can email blast this thing out. Very, very, very easy to start marketing your properties. Now, I kind of said, hey, look, we're going to wholesale this thing. But quite frankly, even if you're trying to rent the property, same thing. If you're trying to sell it for retail, same thing. Okay, so no matter your exit strategy, this is a great tool to help you market for that end buyer or renter. Okay, all right, so let's go back in. That was the property website. Okay, we also create property flyers. These are great if you're going to REIA clubs or anything like that. Let's go ahead and create a flyer for this thing. So you can just create PDF flyer. You can choose the color style, the data that you actually want. You do get a chance to edit it, and then you can kind of pick which photos. We're going to go ahead and add all the photos. There we go. Let's go ahead and save PDF flyer, and it creates the PDF, and then you can actually easily download that. So we'll click on that. It actually starts downloading it for us. So there we go. Downloaded the flyer, creates a nice little PDF flyer, which you can easily print now. Okay. All right, so that's pretty snazzy. We also create HTML flyers. This used to work great on Craigslist, but you guys probably know that Craigslist no longer allows HTML code and things of that nature. So we can't necessarily post this out to Craigslist per se, but the HTML flyers work great on other classified sites that do allow HTML. pretty awesome stuff, okay? If I want to send out an email, blast this out to my email buyers, email my buyers list, I can do that very easily. Just come over here, clicks the email, it creates, now I can actually blast out the email directly from here. The property blaster, here's all the different websites that we're actually going to take and post this to. If you are, I want you guys to know and understand, if it's a rental property, we will syndicate it to Zillow and Trulia and things like that. However, they don't do for sale by owner properties any longer through syndication, okay? And then the marketing profile, I kind of hit on this earlier when we started the webinar, but you can actually have multiple marketing profiles so that if you want all of the rental property leads to go to a particular person in your office or whatever, you can actually use their contact info and set up their marketing profile. So you can kind of choose which marketing profile is going to appear on this property, okay? So super easy to do that. All right, so we really just pretty much went start to finish all the way through just the property pipeline on an individual property. But there's a couple things I do want to show you. You know, so we created the property website. That was cool. The property details, we did say, hey, look, you know what? We want to actually feature that on our website. So let's go take a look at our websites. So I'm going to go into Web Tools. Let's go take a look at our websites. So here we go. We got Express Home Buyers Phoenix. You know what? I don't know. Let's do this. Oh, here's another website that we built. So whenever we come in here and we look at properties, there we go. Here is the property on your actual branded website as well. And all of the information that we actually added, maps, features, the tour, the neighborhood scores, the school information, all of that is here as well, okay? So I want to kind of pause for a moment. Let's go take a look at questions, okay? I don't see any particular questions coming in, so hopefully you guys are getting the information that you need. I think this is probably going to be a good place to stop. I know I said that I really wanted to cover property finders today, but to be candid, it just took probably a little bit longer than I anticipated for the details of the property pipeline, okay? But that property pipeline, it is a very, very powerful tool. Really helps you stay very organized and keeps everybody on the team, even third-party folks, just helps them keeps them very informed and updated on the property phases, okay? So pretty good stuff there. Next week, we'll probably jump back into the property finder piece. So with that said, I just want to go out and monitor questions again. I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to ask any questions. And if there are no questions, we'll go ahead and wrap up for today. Again, I want to thank you guys for taking the time out of a very busy days and schedules. I understand and really do appreciate and know your time is valuable. So I appreciate very much so that the fact that you guys gave us that attention. So with that said, hey guys, I appreciate it, and we will talk to you next week. Thanks so much.